gentlemen, welcome to Global Health. This is, I think, one of the most important episodes you will ever hear from Ufuk to Africa. You know, Ufuk Batum has become very famous now through AFROTURK now, and we're receiving so many messages through our WhatsApp and social media. So now he decided to talk about what? Women, which is the most important, focus for Africa and for Turkey. Without a strong women entrepreneurs, women leaders, we are nowhere. Including when you look at the SDG, the Global Development Goals, on all 17, women is also always touching in many of these components. And at the end, we all have mothers or sisters, and we are building life through women. So that's why today we're talking about the woman in academia, research, innovation, and entrepreneurship with our amazing leader, Ufuk Batum. Ufuk, welcome to Global Health.
Thank you, Yavuz.
You are giving so many perspectives to so many African leaders, ministers, and universities. They are approaching us and they want to meet you, and I'm really, really excited to host you on this episode. I want to thank you again for being with us. And,
thank you.
Especially there were many women leaders that wanted to talk more on women, and you were also very eager to talk about this position of women in academia, research, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Tell me, how do you evaluate the position of women in business as well as in academic world globally? Because you're on both sides, both in academia and business.
Yes, so things are changing. The movement of feminism, which I have doubts, for the reason, very basic reason, that movement started right after the First World War.
Yes.
And men died, so to do jobs, the factory level, they need labor.
Yes.
So what do? You attract the woman into, but is that a nice and smart and smooth transition? That I doubt.
I see.
So my position is more a social and natural approach to the problem, that women should be in different disciplines by themselves, by its nature.
Naturally, it has to
not
happen.
because of that, kind of a plan behind.
I see.
So when I travel, when I'm in the US or in Africa or in Turkey or other places, I see different, approaches to the problem. But finally, I think what has been happening around us in the last 20-25 years, especially in the last 15 years that we see in Turkey, that girls go to school.
Indeed.
Schools are positioned, and the system, the mechanism is positioned somehow by regulation, by motivation, by
campaigns,
yeah, as well as putting resources.
Yes.
That now girls are for almost 2 decades more and more at school.
For sure.
So what's happening? They have to come to the university, take tough exams. So studying all those topics at home and to be prepared for the exam is a long process.
Yes.
I think men are a little bit bored on this. They find it a long process. They want to have access to work and money easier.
True. That's true.
So now the arena is left for the woman.
I agree with you totally.
So I checked the numbers, and I'm very glad and happy
I'm curious about the statistics
to share it with you. Yeah. Currently, at our 208 universities in Turkey, there are more PhD students as women as compared to men. Almost 50-50.
Wow.
I'm following over the years. Woman was like 40s, 45 and 47. Now it's around 52s.
It's surpassed.
Yes. Overall, the level of bachelors and then masters, woman is much higher.
I see.
And then in the years to come, there will be more associate professors and professors.
Gotcha.
Women in 5 to 7, and definitely in 10 years' time, you will have 60% more professors and 40% men as professors in Turkish universities.
This is amazing.
This is a major impact in the way we think and the way we organize our society as well.
Agree.
Different components of the society.
For sure.
I mean, the political leadership, look at the civil society, the work, corporate
Environment,
entrepreneurship, NGOs.
Yeah. But how will this impact the R&D ecosystem? You know, when you look at, you know, if the woman is more and more in leadership, how it will impact the Turkey's R&D spending, its, you know, growth, and especially the position of Turkish women. How will it actually impact?
In absolute dollar terms, Turkey has done a frog leap in R&D spending.
Lead, yeah.
Yes. And how is that? It's 100 times in dollar terms that we have raised our spending. And Yavuz, let's call it not spending, but investment.
I agree with you.
Right?
Totally.
Because
That's the right
in
word.
your financial annual report of corporations, it's spending.
No.
It's not spending. It's
It is
investment. Hardcore investment in your people.
With a return expectation.
Yes.
Long term.
Long
Maybe
term,
longer term,
medium
but
to
return.
long term, but definitely that comes.
I agree.
I mean, look at our defense, already more than $7 billion of export.
Yeah.
Very high value added products.
Is construction still Turkey's number one export, or is now defense becoming number one?
Probably like there are
Because construction
automotive
has
and
more
spare part
dominant,
is
yeah,
number
spare
one.
part, yeah.
Textile and apparel industry. Now, with all those policies that we have more than 100 technoparks, in that 100 technoparks, more than 15,000 startups. And with corporations, you've got around 1,300 R&D centers.
Huge.
Accredited by the ministry.
Yes.
There are more than 300 design centers, again accredited by these are public policies, with a community of almost reaching to 500,000 smart jobs.
Amazing.
Innovators, researchers, you know, all those entrepreneurs, technology-based companies, you know, 500,000 population. We want to have it easily by 2 to 3 million.
I agree.
So let's pick one industry where Turkey is rather very strong, textile and apparel, let's say.
Sure.
There are so many research centers of companies. When you talk to them, the managers or the directors are generally women.
I see.
70% of the researchers are also women.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
This is phenomenal. This is phenomenal.
Because the way women are more disciplined. And they are more detailed. I don't know if men...
And they're patient.
Very patient. And overall, maybe men will not like me for that reason.
That's okay.
Women are very accountable.
They are.
Strong integrity.
Yes.
Right?
That actually is the most important thing.
So the more we put women on the stages in decision-making processes, I think the faster the society
Absolutely.
progresses.
And when you look at the position of women for the corporate world, like the Turkish business world, you know, let's look at the top tier, you know, the corporate Turkey of the board of directors. What's the situation and how is it going to change?
That is changing because there's also a regulation in place, the woman quota or the independent board member as a quota.
Yes.
We have changed our code of trade
Yes.
and running companies. So that is helping. But regulation is one piece, but I would always prefer the natural
I agree.
way of understanding this potential.
Yes.
So smart companies, especially doing business abroad, they talk to people. They are in interaction with various decision makers. They see the good and the bad examples.
Yes.
They do benchmarking, lots of benchmarking, case studying. So with all that, I see a trend that we will see more women sitting on the boards of local or international companies.
Amazing. This is amazing. So the trend is actually going in the right direction for Turkey.
Yes.
And when you look at the different, male and female characteristics align or differ in the professional life, how do you see that? In terms of the professional life, do you see more and more women also working in the class like the PhD for the corporates. Do you see that as well?
Yes.
Not just the board, the company structure.
Yes. So when I was talking about, for example, the research centers
Yes.
of the corporations, these are professional women.
That is not just in R&D then, it's also in the entire company.
It is a department of the company.
I see.
So who's running? It's
Lady.
generally a woman,
Yes.
a lady, which is good. Researchers are basically civil engineers, environmental engineers, mechanics and software developers, chemists, and so many other disciplines. So also with this discipline, I mean, this way of looking 360 degrees, multidisciplinary approaches, very critical for our corporations.
It is.
I mean, in the past, it was like, I would produce, I would sell. Very simple. Two dimensions. Now, multi-dimensions. Highly competitive world that you survive in today. So, Turkish companies are either choosing to stay small, somehow profitable, which we do not advise. But what we advise is 99% of the world population is not in Turkey. It's abroad. So there's a massive potential. Go abroad, sell more, and reach out to your, your customers everywhere.
This analysis is phenomenal because I think, and now looking into this society, being someone came from United States and moved to Turkey and chose to live in Turkey, able to compare both sides, I think that Turkey is coming to another time of change. That's what I feel like in terms of what you're telling me in the universities, what you're telling me in the R&D, in the company structure. I think the associations, the unions, the NGOs, non-government organizations, even the political arena may be impacted from this change.
It's all an issue of modeling
I see.
and governance. I think we were losing in these grounds in the past.
I see.
Now we learn modeling. I mean, it's not for the sake of defense industry only.
No, of course.
What is more critical is that they've put on the table a workable model.
Amazing.
With the ecosystem.
And now you're able to replicate
now
that.
you can replicate it in healthcare, in other places. And also let's remember that with the changes of 2001 and new political leadership in our country, that now we're also changing the investment stage in the way that you might not heard it from other economists or experts, that I call it the advantage of the last investor.
I see. Wow. You're latest in the game.
Yes.
But
so you have the best state-of-the-art infrastructure in your hospitals.
I see.
Both government as well as
You're
private.
Right. You're right. Like the Turkish metro lines are brand new compared to Paris.
Or if you look at the Mediterranean basin for your tourism, you've got the best,
best resorts and hotels
in the south.
With the highest technology.
So that's what I'm talking about, being the last investor.
Wow.
So during the pandemic in France, in Italy, other places, the patients suffered.
They did.
They were on the corridors, on the floor. But we didn't face that. Why? Because we've increased capacity with new equipment, new machinery, new service, an excellent health team that you're part of it. Doctors, medicals, others.
That's true.
So
and top of the line, diagnostic devices and medications as well.
Yes. So with that, what do you do? I mean, I think you offer this as know-how to other countries.
That's true.
Mainly, I think we are very eager. I see that in the public sector as well as the private sector to share on equal level.
Absolutely.
With our counterparts in Africa.
Just to add to this amazing analysis, during the pandemic, Turkey was one of the 9 countries who had produced its own vaccination. And what we did, we first vaccinated all the ambassadors.
Right.
To show the greatness of Turkish hospitality.
And as I think as part of our public diplomacy, we've been shipping
to everywhere,
charge.
in Africa, to many
Yes.
places.
Yes.
And not just vaccinations, but masks and other,
Yes, other
ventilators
equipment.
as well, which many companies, many countries were about to get into war for it, you know, like.
I remember,
So-
yes, yes.
We forget all the time. So, but Ufuk, it was an amazing discussion. I don't know how the time passes, but I really, really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Let's get your final messages for our African viewers as Ufuk Batum, who knows so much, who has went through many areas from the corporate at the global level and Türkiye, touched in business life and academia, and now being a great senior, advisor to many important clients. What is your final message to our African brothers and sisters?
So to shift minds, I'm delivering some courses or training, or sometimes I'm making keynote speeches. I'm
Very
invited
important.
by business communities and this and that. So I have my set of slides.
Amazing.
I remember from my slides that I use a couple of maps of Africa. One African map, it says oil, gold, mine. That is an imperial
It is.
approach.
It's their mindset, yeah.
Yeah, that European, imperial,
advantage.
just to take the advantage, exploit.
Colonialism.
Then I put my understanding of
Beautiful.
Africa as a map,
I love it.
where there is Turkish Airlines flying, there is collaboration, there are embassies, there is diplomacy, there is universities collaborating, talking to each other. So on that
And media now.
media, AFROTURK, excellent. I mean, thank you giving me this opportunity,
Absolutely.
Yavuz,
Absolutely.
because I like to, you need to communicate.
We do.
You need to talk to people. So all those messages coming to you, and some of them may be coming to me,
Yes.
I love them.
Thank
so whenever there is a duty in Africa, it's our responsibility.
This is the best message we take now, Ufuk. Ladies and gentlemen, remember Ufuk Batum, definitely reach to the WhatsApp numbers we have, and let's get him to Africa as soon as possible. I don't care whether you invite him for a show, a speech, a university action, a business consultancy, I don't care. Show us your power through AFROTURK TV. This is your host, Dr. Selim Sulay. Take care and all the best. Bye.